seen some improvements from Valleyfield as well. So all bets are off on terms of whether Keel can stem the tide of the Valleyfield comeback today.
Game number 1 is definitely going to set the stage for how this series goes. I can't even finish a sentence because Potty comes out swinging.
Wow, that's just a sick pinch. Doesn't even hesitate, jumps straight for it. And you can't really fault Valleyfield. It's like, yep, fair enough. Good shot.
Yeah, I just did that. That's going to keep happening, all right? So keep an eye on Potty, who, from Talacto, of course, who is our EU caster, the EU representative that we have here. No way. I can't finish the sentence here. Come on, guys.
Not allowed to have any opinions, bring up anything relevant. We're just going to score goals. Huge dunk from Vegas. Been talking a little bit how they struggled a little bit yesterday, him and Tokyo, and Vegas opening up the scoring for Valleyfield, getting things right back into the game. We're starting at 0-0. That's okay.
I think the craziest part of all of this actually is the player that I have not really seen show up that I was expecting to potentially carry the team is Broken. And yes, yesterday Tokyo and Vegas were having some struggles here. Nice little drop down right there, but if it gets cleared out, Broken was kind of behind the pack. However, today, we saw synergy earlier when Valleyfield had played in a previous series. Tokyo and Vegas had this duality between them. They were doing passing plays. There were non-stop assists between these two members. But on the other side, Keel, Potty has been known as the really stalwart, resolute player. Even under pressure, this is the guy that can save face of the team.
Keel doing a really nice job being patient on defense here at the start of game 1 as well. Not rushing too much with Valleyfield pressing.
It was a slow start, right?
It became a slow one, thankfully. We've taken a step back after the insanity of the first 15 seconds.
And that's kind of the expectation, right? It's not being too slow, it's not being scared. It's maybe a little bit of trepidation moving forward, because when you have a goal aside in the first 8 seconds of the game, you have to take a step back, right? You have to reevaluate where both of the teams are at and say, okay, we can't continue to allow this to happen because this is going to become ping pong at the end of the day.
And it is indeed a little bit of ping pong here. Potty just trying to take it on a dribble, forced possession. It actually does appear to be Keel's approach to the game right now. Possession of the ball more important than just flinging it up there, seeing if you get it dumped out to Vegas. That one towards the net. Nice save from K3.
I love how T-Bates was, talking up K3 so hard yesterday, and now he's making signs against people. This is what happens when you get on the bad side of T-Bates, okay? You will have cards, you will have permanent marker, and he will likely save those and put them in a scrapbook.
Ooh, good pressure as well from Valleyfield. To be fair, they do hold a slight edge here at the moment. Just a forced punt from Keel just to get a little bit of extra operating room on their own half here, so should have a decent structure in the midfield line. See if they can stop Valleyfield from getting over onto the blue half for a little bit.
Nice play there by Potty. It's going to be disrupted, of course, by Tokyo. And the reversal, it's not an open net, though. Once again, K3 comes in clutch on the defensive side. Can he transition it? He doesn't get the following touch, but Deuce is going to, and the tie is broken.
Thought this one was going to be a broken play with the miss from K3 here with the second touch, but came off the wall, smashes broken to the floor, and Deuce, thank you very much. You'll be more than happy to take the uncontested shot on target. Really nice recovery from K3.
Absolutely. That was a chef's kiss kind of situation right there. And you're right. It looked like it was going to be a K3 play. Instead, it turned into the K3 disruption. Now we're going to see if Valleyfield can snap back as quickly as they did against the first. And oh my! All right, see, this is the opposite of a caster curse. I don't think I've experienced this before in my life, Chiefs.
You wield great and terrible power, Jolly.
It's a big responsibility, I'll tell you that.
It must be terrifying. I certainly would not want to have that ability. But Tokyo, more than happy to collect 2-2 game 1. Not willing to give too much back for free, that's for sure.
And we're about halfway through regulation on this. We're looking essentially at a 0-0 scoreline. Of course, 2-2. You can't discount the fact that those are secures that have been locked down. But whoever breaks the equalizer, now that we're towards the second half, is going to be looking to just maintain the scoreline. And I think the speed needs to pick up here in the last couple of minutes of the game.
Valleyfield definitely trying right now. Dump towards net. Potty with a clear. Tokyo going to be stuck in that net. Has to have a lot of time bought for him from Broken in Vegas, and Deuce has a chance, but he doesn't have any options out in the midfield. This one's going to ricochet off the backboard, though. Potty going to come back and drill one top right.
It's these upper 90 shots that are coming in clutch right now for Keel. Valleyfield not really able to get the momentum. They're either hanging on the ground or they're hanging on the wall waiting for a drop shot, and they haven't had the opportunity to defend it either time. So Now just under 2 minutes left on the clock. Keel has a decision to make. Do we play defensively? Do we continue doing what we're doing? Or do we try to be more aggressive and put some extra nails in the coffin?
And I did like the recognition from Keel there as well. Don't try and force it towards the goal. You don't have an option. You're not going fast enough to get it around the guy who's on the goal line. Just throw it off the wall one more time, see what happens. You never know, and indeed they find a goal.
And once again, I gotta say, you know, Broken not showing up as much as I would think. He does have assists, right? He's got some of these setups. This is a player, though, when we're talking about stats, he has almost double the goals per game of the rest of his team on average. Same with the rest of the stats. He tops pretty much all of them. Woo-wee! And there's a beautiful save from Tokyo. Oh, it doesn't matter, though. K3 will lock it in. Back-to-back.
Punished with the weak touch from Vegas, was kind of stuck in the net with not a lot of boost, was trying to get it all the way out to the corner, just didn't come off with enough power, trying to recover on the second opportunity from Keel, but not enough. No time to get all the way back, and Keel happy to jump all over that. 4-2, you asked if they were going to put more nails in the coffin. Absolutely.
There it is. See, now I have to give it a 50-50. Will this or will this happen, right? Not we'll see if this does happen, because apparently I wield that power and I cannot abuse it here. But with 60 seconds left on the clock, Valleyfield has got to be feeling a bit of the pressure here. They might actually. Broken has a potential setup. That was an awkward angle to pinch, maybe to secure it, and Broken can't follow that one up either.
It's a difficult plays to make for the Keel defense on rotation, but I don't know if it's really going to matter with only 40 left. Indeed, Deuce is going to come right through everybody. 5-2, you can write game one off. Keel going to throw away Valleyfield after an intense first couple minutes of the game. It became a fairly comfortable win for him.
Yeah, a lot of these plays, too, their rebound, right, their second touch plays. And almost every single time, it's been the initiator going up, breaking off to disrupt the defender, and then somebody following it up. And if it ain't broke, no need to fix it. They're going to continue to do this. A demo coming out of Tokyo, taking down K3, but only 30 seconds left on the clock, and Valleyfield needs to more than double their score to catch up.
I'm sure if they're going to be able to do it, but they might get one or two here if they keep this amount of pressure up. Finally, probably one of their most extended stays on offense. That one's going to be off the post. That one's going to sting a little bit for Tokyo. You'd like to feel like even if your goals that you put in here aren't going to matter, you're at least shooting well. And unfortunately for them, no dice at the end of game one. But you were talking a lot about Broken and how he hasn't necessarily been playing up to the standard that you may expect. And a lot of that does come from Broken capitalizes a lot of the setup a lot from Vegas. Vegas by far and away perhaps the most mechanical player on that Valleyfield team, and he has the highest assist per game rating for all of his team, or at least coming into the weekend, I should say.
Yeah.
So Vegas, generally you're looking for a guy to break down the defense, and he tends to be that player more often than not. And Broken and Tokyo tend to support quite nicely and have strong follow-up, and Broken really just looking for that effectiveness of the drive from Vegas a little bit more perhaps going forward.
Tokyo has really been showing up in terms of not just the shots, but actually some pretty miraculous saves as well here. We're going to have to see if it's enough to stand up to them, though, of course. We can see extra stats coming through from Valleyfield. Keel feeling very confident, though, going into game number 2. They managed to make about 3 goals in just under a minute there towards the latter half of the series. So as the final stand for EU, if there's EU fans out there, you guys had better be cheering this team on, because my goodness, I want to see International. I want T-Bates to eat his words once again. I want to see International tomorrow.
You would like to see it for sure. And right now, Keel definitely putting on the show good enough to make that happen. They are having some fairly consistent defense, very well structured, even if they get themselves into some tight spots, not a lot of double commits. Allowing extra opportunities from Valleyfield has not been something that Keel has allowed. That structure and discipline on defense is important when you have a team like Valleyfield who can press as hard as they do.
And that's a really good point, too, because you're bringing up Broken and his ability to follow up on a lot of these plays. It's coming. It's the power is here. The power exists, all right? Broken in the follow-ups. That's what I was going to say, is there's not a lot of space, right? They've been very narrow in terms of their options to engage, because Keel has been very reactive, very quick on their reactions. And right there we see it. All you need is a quick breakaway, and Broken will follow it up.
And Vegas, I don't know how he got all the way back for that second touch. Somehow off the ceiling and able to use every boost in the tank somehow. Just take that away from the defense. Massive setup from him. Let's
see if Tokyo can snag this one away from Pooty. No, clear across. still, Valleyfield is on the aggression. Hootie's gonna transition that, get it past one, can he get it past Broken? Doesn't matter, Tokyo is the one that has some interference. K3 bouncing it off the back wall. Deuce following that one up, and Valleyfield stuck on the defense until Vegas decides to carry it over.
Good attempt from Valleyfield, but possession as well, ball control, something that Keel in general I feel has had the better approach with. Very focused on the quality of that first touch, sticking it close to the car, making sure they bring possession in their favor, forcing Valleyfield to come and take the ball away from them. And then Valleyfield also start to have that same approach. It would be a little more difficult for Keel, that ball going in their favor, because Valleyfield also has pretty solid defensive structure and support from whoever's on the ball.
A lot of these times too. Oh, what a shot! Broken! What was that?
Just came in out of the midfield, took a little bit of a risk. Vegas here is stuck in the midfield, has to rotate back, but he realizes he's gonna beat the guy coming out of the net, understands the spacing and the timing, says, yeah, I can get to that one. Go and see if you can put it in under the crossbar. Nails a shot. Risk reward pays off. Valleyfield up 2-0.
Still 3:35 left on the clock. We just saw Keel sink 3 in less than a minute in the previous game, but does kind of feel like they've been set, back onto their heels.
Yes.
And that's something I was going to say. Valleyfield, when you say Keel looks like they've got more control of the ball, right? They've got better possession. Valleyfield doesn't necessarily have to look at it as, what are we doing?
What?
No way! Come on! That was just
on.
silly. I honestly didn't think that was going to happen.
What's going on? Okay, Broken goes out to grab some booze. Oh, and the awkward half flip, and okay, that's just weird. I don't know. I think Broken literally just caught going like 4 feet for 112 boost pad, and then he's just like, I can't make it back.
And just like that, I mean, how many seconds did it take for at least 1 point to be put on the board? But say at Keel, it's not necessarily what can we do to improve. Sometimes it's where are the chinks in the armor? What can we take advantage of maybe that we're noticing a little bit of faltering occurring here in the opposition? And while that might not be the case for that previous goal, it's still an option here that Valleyfield has on to Keel, especially now that the game is much closer.
Punishment has always been an important part of pretty much every CRL season to date. People like to forget, CRL has improved a lot over the course of its lifetime. The skill has definitely improved, but they're not pros. They're not perfect, and you can absolutely jump on some mistakes from time to time.
Even pros aren't perfect.
That's
all right,
true.
hold on. They might like to believe that they are, Chiefs, but they absolutely are not. Maybe Broken with another great touch. This is what I wanted to see out of Broken. This is what we were kind of lacking yesterday, even a little bit earlier in the previous series that Valleyfield had today. And once these three players are on the same page, that's when they get scary.
Valleyfield starting to miss the ball on a couple of approaches as well. There's a double commit, and thankfully that clear is strong enough that they should have time to recover, but be careful. Biggest thing for Valleyfield is they like to have that pace of play, and if you're missing the touch, then you're going to throw off that sense of timing that everyone on your team has, and that can lead to some extra problems like double commits, running into your own teammates, putting yourselves in positions where Keel has that space to capitalize.
Yep. And sometimes there are moments where you need to communicate something, but you literally can't within the time that you have.
Time, yeah.
And generally that has to do with a mistake that you've made, right? You've whiffed the ball, you've accidentally flipped the wrong direction, you've gotten the wrong touch or the wrong angle on something, missed the boost pad, whatever it is, where you need that cohesion within the team, that synergy kind of already taking place so that there can be recovery here. And we are seeing it out of Keel. Valleyfield has showed us quite a bit of that, though, and they are continuing to improve minute by minute.
Monster, a couple of saves from Dews now. Missed third touch, but it's okay. K3 over on the offensive side. Keel finding the right time to put their foot down on the gas pedal. Are pressing nicely here under the Valleyfield. Have to catch two players a little far forward, but again, nice safety, deep back rotation for K3. They know they can't afford to concede one back, but they've got the space. They will absolutely press.
And it seems like Valleyfield has that recognition too. They're like, we're up 2-1. Let's just
don't do anything stupid.
Right? Keep two defenders on the tight side. We can still make some aggressive plays, but we're looking for these big, strong clears that can't be countered at the midfield.
Yep. Waste time, the long clear game, or the soft dribble. Got to make him come get it. May work out. Tokyo takes his time in the corner here. Is going to weave his way through everybody.
He just bounces this off the bumper of Dews. Says, thank you very much for being a wall to provide me a little bit of counterbalance on this one. It was a good attempt by Dews. K3 has been fantastic on these saves, but they just can't get there in time, and the speed is currently in favor of Valleyfield.
You can't save everything. Valleyfield are going to find their way back, very likely, I should say, to a Game 2 win, tie the series up, barring a miracle from K3 and co. Keel just stuck here on their own half.
Get up around the corner. Let's see if Potty can follow this one up. The momentum was in their favor, but it was stalled immediately by Tokyo and Vegas, trying to make another collaborative play on their side. Clear in favor of Keel, gets stopped out at the midfield line, just like they're working on, almost with a shot on goal. K3 gets there in time, misses out on the challenge. Maybe a chance for a nail in the coffin coming out of Valleyfield this time, Chiefs.
This time they will get the job done as the last hurrah turned aside, smashed into the floor. Valleyfield tied things up, and I think it's fair to say that you could probably expect this one to go the distance considering how tight yesterday's series was. Even if it was 0-3 in favor of Keel, they were one-goal games in general. I think only the first one went like 3-1 or something in favor of Keel, but this has been a hotly contested matchup between these two pretty much all weekend long, so not surprised to see this one equalize back the other way. You start to see a little bit more consistency coming out of Valleyfield and taking away some of those opportunities, minimizing their mistakes mostly, I think was the biggest improvement here in Game 2.
And when things even out as a 1-to-1 series in a best-of-5, you're basically like, all right, so we're moving forward with a best-of-3, and we got some warm-up. That's kind of what the situation is here. The next team to take the game out of this game number 3 is going to be moving forward at match point. So that's something both of these teams want and not something they want to allow because, again, these are the elimination matches. This is where things really come in. If these teams want to come back tomorrow and play, they want to show up on stage, they need to perform right now.
Small shot edge to Keel in that last game, 6-4 in favor of Keel. So that does bode well. They are still getting, in general, the majority. Not much more of a majority, but a little extra time over on that orange half, so it is something to keep your eye on. You'd like to see Valleyfield, if they want to be successful here, minimize, at least equalize shot pressure, making sure that they don't put themselves in those positions, as we talked about. If they start making mistakes over on that defensive half, double commits, out of position, gets real dicey there. So Valleyfield likes to drive pace of play, not react to it.
And I do think that there were a couple of those moments in the previous game, but they were immediately acknowledged and they were immediately adapted upon, right? They made a move. They said, okay, we need to change it now. It only lasted about 10 seconds, a little bit of faulty play maybe for just a tiny bit. So the adaptability, I always come back to that, especially with these collegiate teams. It's something we need to see, and we're seeing it particularly out of Valleyfield today compared to how they were playing yesterday.
Oh, wow.
Keel's feeling pretty consistent, though, compared to their yesterday's game.
Yeah, in general, really liking Keel's approach. I believe Tylacto told us, Keel in general, very consistent. It's really a three-man threat. Nobody is outstanding in any particular category. Like we talk about, Vegas here generally tends to be the can opener. Well, Keel's got all three people who are capable of that. Maybe not to the same extent, but it is a consistent level of threat you can expect.
And the stats, the numbers across the board, the goals, the saves, the shots, the assists, all relatively even between these two teams, which makes it an even more exciting match. Dues with a nice drop down from the crossbar. Pootie's going to follow that one up as well. No double commits coming out of Keel to ensure that goal doesn't go through.
And Valleyfield right here kind of fighting for the ball with not a lot of boost in the corner. Vegas and Tokyo trying to get things through somewhere, and they're focused on making sure that they don't give up a counterattack to Keel for free. More focused on possession than trying to score, and Broken's just going to pop one off the wall. Everybody's going to miss. That is punishment 101.
And I just said no double commits from Keel, but watch this setup. Both Dues and Piety, they 180, and they both move forward to the ball instead of one member trying to take that front post positioning, which needs to take place when you got a ball moving at that speed.
Do you think Dues expecting Piety to come up with a touch? Either way, big miss. That one hurts to start off, especially in a game like you were talking about. Game 3 here, a lot of pressure if you come out on top against your opponents. Can't really afford to just give away free goals that you're going to have to work hard to make it back, because one goal advantage is not a lot by any stretch of the imagination. But when you know you don't have to make something happen, there's a certain level of confidence you play with on the defensive half.
And especially with a lot of that possession this game, absolutely going in favor of Valleyfield. No, barely not hitting. That wasn't even a shot on goal, if I'm not mistaken. Too far down, too far to the left still. A lot of shots actually coming out from both of these teams. And the momentum has been picking up in general for the plays. It does feel like Valleyfield is kind of on an uphill curve, whereas Keel has sort of plateaued, though. And so that's why we're spending this game in particular so much time on the blue side of the field.
Yeah, I was like, you'd like to see Valleyfield at least equalize the shot pressure. Right now, they're just absolutely crushing it in terms of that. Keel has yet to have an extended stay over on the orange half in Game 3. So Valleyfield executing on everything they could possibly hope for here. Potty with a little poke towards the back wall and maybe some time on target. And a nice save from Valleyfield.
Tokyo, really a standout player today. I gotta say, Tokyo's, one of those that is a little more lackluster in terms of high stats. More towards the middle of the pack, maybe even towards the lower third, I would say, of a lot of these players. But when it matters most on stage, when you've got that presence available, he is absolutely coming in clutch right here.
Wow.
Nice plays on the orange side. K3 getting into position to defend this one, but Potty sends it away before he has to.
Vegas making some real tough reads over his shoulder on the backboard. Some scary touches required. Here's a pass down to Broken, and that was it. He's actually going to get back to it. 2-0 for Valleyfield.
Oh, this is pretty. This is highlight reel worthy. If I'm one of these players, this is going in the books. The double touch from Broken. And you can see, I can't see his face. I can see the panic in the vehicle, right? Am I going too fast? Nope, I've got the touch.
Real nice pass from Vegas. Split the defense perfectly, gave Brogan a chance at it. I'm sure if you asked him, he'd tell you he'd like to score it on the first try, but they'll take the second one on the double tap. Yeah, it looks a lot better.
It's cooler. You take those where you can get them, especially when the pressure is on. And the pressure is particularly on for Keel here as we're getting closer and closer to just 60 seconds left in this game number 3. And it's more pressure on the blue side of the field. Keel is really struggling to maintain boost and to get these big clears that Valleyfield was having trouble with in the early part of the series.
And a big part of that, how aggressive Valleyfield's willing to play out of the midfield. I mean, they'll go up there and fight you for the ball, and that's pretty dangerous strategy, I will say, because if you're late on even one of those challenges, you're leaving your third man hanging out to dry in a 2-on-1 or a 1-on-1 scenario. So Valleyfield just willing to play a little more aggressive to try and exert that extra amount of pressure on that Keel defense, and it's been working so far in game 3.
Oop, Dude's trying to take that one up and over. It's definitely working for them. Keel trying to figure out exactly what they need to do here, and the pace of the game on their side has slowed tremendously, not just because of the boost. Beautiful save coming out of Dudes there to ensure it's not another one for Valleyfield, but this one kind of feels gone, right? 20 seconds now. Going to be heading into game number 4. You got to prep your mentality for that, okay? You get a 0-0 reset. You get another 5 minutes on the clock. Keel has looked really good, but this round was not indicative of improvement based on the first 2.
Yes, in terms of improvement, this was absolutely the Valleyfield. That adaptability that you were talking about, this was Valleyfield's game. To be like, yep, this is what we're going to do. And Keel's like, step back, hang on. Really got pushed off the pace there for that one. And an excellent game for Valleyfield there in game 3. Right time to try and put a little extra pressure on him. Worked out beautifully. Very aggressive out of the midfield. And answer for how you handle that going into game 4, because you can't expect Valleyfield to change the game plan. It's already worked once. It's on you to prove that you can handle it. If you're Keel, a lot of that just stems from, okay, your mindset has to shift from how you take those challenges on defense. We're not trying to win the ball. You're trying to control the ball against that challenge. Because if you know Valleyfield's going to be coming hard at you from that midfield line, you can't be thinking, okay, I got to go over. You got to be thinking, I got to be going left. I got to be able to stalemate it, drop it back down and recover quickly and take it out on a dribble. And that sort of mindset shift is a very tough thing to actually materialize in real time, but if you understand that I'm not trying to win the ball, I'm trying to control it, you'll have a little more success.
7 shots coming out of Valleyfield on that one, and that's certainly something that Keel can at least move forward with, saying, hey, we've got a game plan. Like you said, they know what kind of went wrong towards the end, and I think another part of that actually in their inability really for that game to get the ball out of their own half of the field has a lot to do with some of these not quite double commits, but more a bit of miscommunication in terms of I'm going for the ball, you go for either the defensive play or you go for the vehicle disruption. We saw a lot of that in games 1 and 2. We saw 1 or 2 demos come out of Valleyfield this game, but very lackluster in those terms as we head into game number 4.
Always curious to see what a team chooses to do on tournament point. Lose here, you're done. Europe's last hope here in Keel. Fading light. Valleyfield trying to put more pressure on early at the start of game 4.
Has seemed like one of those series where the first goal tends to lead towards momentum. There is our first demo of the game, the first 30 seconds. It is, of course, broken, and Valleyfield has not slowed down from that game number 3. We can see even their clears have target acquisition.
Really nice job from Dues controlling that ball. Forces, this is what you're talking about. You get aggressive in the midfield. You force Tokyo. Okay, you're in a one-on-one. You have to buy a lot of time here. And at the same time, you're also probably going to have to end up giving possession right back to Keel. And that's kind of where you see that backfire from Valleyfield. It doesn't materialize to anything for Keel, but it does mean that if you start winning that challenge game out of the midfield with how aggressive they like to play it, you can find yourself in some more advantageous positions.
Any control is good. Whether or not you actually get a goal off of it, whether you get a really powerful play off of it, it is still control, and it should still boost the ego a little bit. The mentality says, hey, we're still in this, we can still do it. And these two teams are so even-keeled. even
I'll give you that one.
Even-keeled across the board, really, that it is still anyone's game. Yes, it is match point currently for Valleyfield, but Keel has been showing up, and this is where it matters. When the pressure is on, can they outperform?
Vegas a little bit frustrated there, would have liked to skim that one more directly across the middle of the pitch. Unfortunately, no shot opportunities for either team. Potty getting that one taken away and overdoes his head as well, but that's actually a well-controlled touch. It puts Potty in kind of an awkward position, but at the same time, you'd rather back pass it to your team than just fight for a ball in the corner.
It almost feels like Keel, when they do get some of these offensive plays, they slow down. They don't have a lot of confidence in themselves. K3 has been making some incredible saves. Deuce has been making some great redirects. Potty's been trying to carry it up and over, but it feels like he doesn't have a ton of confidence in himself on those plays. There's not really follow-up from the team either. I love the defense. Defense is incredible from Keel, but it needs to transition into some offensive plays. Otherwise, eventually, after barrage of shots from Valleyfield, one's going to come through.
Oh, and there we go. That's a big block from K3. Stalls out that Valleyfield press in the midfield, gets it onto the orange half, and here's where your own challenge game, like you're talking about, needs to come online. You have to start fighting for possession of that midfield line, because now they've allowed Valleyfield right back into the blue half. They're getting that pressure going, and they're saying, this is how you're supposed to be doing it.
And Keel almost feels like they're a little bit scared to use a bunch of their boost on some of these plays. They've had some risky moves, right, where they move too far forward. They're not able to get back to the goal line in time in the previous games. K3's been doing a great job. Their defense is good. They don't need to continue to improve or focus on that. You need to adapt in the game, though. I'll bring it back to that. And I haven't really seen much adaptation out of Keel. They still have the possibility. They have it in them. I've seen it before. I need it right now.
Same time, though, they have kept it 0-0. Still manageable. Nice little fake from Tokyo, trying to skim that one in the bottom left corner. Popped off the wall. Well controlled from Potty. That's a gorgeous catch. If I could do that every time, I would. Oh, man.
I mean, there's a lot of things these players do. I'm like, if I could do that just once, I would feel fantastic about myself. But yes, I mean, Valleyfield still has control of this ball, and that's what we were talking about at the end of the day. Even though it is 0-0, even though the defense is very strong on Keel, if the transition doesn't come through, eventually the offensive team is going to be the one to find those goals.
Rocket League, definitely a game. Offense is the way forward.
Definitely a game, yes.
Yes, it is definitely a game. Defense only gets you so far, though. But at the same time, if it's 0-0, defense got you into a winnable spot. And right now, Valleyfield kind of in a real awkward position here defensively. And thankfully, Tokyo not under any amount of pressure, but this may be the best chance Keel has had at keeping possession here for the final minute. Right time to come online.
A lot of pressure moving forward, too. One member at the midfield line. K, maybe with an attempted pass over to Deuce, who was not in the right position. You got to split your sides on the field.
Could have been out of boost or something, but that's when you're just disappointed that you found the pass into the space, and that's why that communication about what you can and can't do is so important. You just try and make something happen. Vegas with a flip reset denied at the top of the goal. And K3 just trying to find a way to poke it down the seam. He's actually through everybody. K3 into the right-hand side. Keel is going to fight their way back.
I actually thought this was a Valleyfield goal. I thought it was going to be a Valleyfield goal, and that's what happens when you are too confident on your offense. You leave an open net. That was a slow roll into the goal, okay? I think K3 was just as shocked as us. It's like, I got this one. I'm free? We're good.
It's only grass? What? It's amazing. And every now and again, that's what defense gets you. If you can hold on, you may just get them a little bit flustered on the offensive side. Find your way through one time is all you need.
There was that confidence that was kind of lacking beforehand, though, and that's exactly what I wanted to see. Maybe the last second shot.
Oh, it bounced.
It bounced, actually, off of Tokyo. It's not going to hit the ground. They're still up in the air by Broken, but Vegas and Tokyo, I don't know if they're in the right position to keep this one alive. Vegas is off onto Tokyo. Deuce dunks it to the ground, though, and it is going to be match point in favor here of Valleyfield.
You couldn't have it any other way. You thought maybe Valleyfield gonna bounce out all of Europe. in game 4, but not this time. Keel gonna hold on tight. White knuckle ride to the finish for Europe. And I don't know, I'd believe it. I think Valleyfield still had a pretty solid approach, but like you were talking about, that consistency in defense is definitely there. And I don't know, here's where you really have to trust your own instincts as yourselves. You don't really feel like you may have the space or the opportunity to really go on the attack that often, and you might just fall back into what you know the best, which is you've got a strong, consistent defense, your communication is there, you're not getting in each other's way, and you just prove that you can play 5 minutes and play a tight one and come out on top. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a wash, rinse, repeat in game 5.
And ball touches pretty much straight down the middle on
there's
that
Calix.
one.
Hi, Cal. That's all of Hamburg. Hi.
All of Hamburg. We got European support out here. Feel the Keel. I love it. Like I said, this is the last shot for EU, right? So all these EU fans, players, family members, doesn't matter what, this is the team they're living through now. Not only that, not really the team that was expected to actually make it this far in the day and be the last team to be surviving here for EU. But again, nothing feels better than teammates being wrong. The confidence this man has whenever he is right, it feels so good to make him wrong. And this is one that EU is going to shove down his throat for the rest of his life if they're able to come in clutch for this game number 5.
They certainly would like to, but we already know. T-Bates is in there. Yeah, he's still got to win the game.
Yeah, he's confident up until he's wrong. Up until the very moment that it is solidified that he is wrong here. And now we can see actually the players going into that game number 4. The players on the other side did not look as confident, but this is it. Champions feel the Chiefs.
Driven by Nissan. It's time to get it underway. We will see which team comes out on top. Does Europe have a team in day 3 championship Sunday? Or does it become the CRL National Championship once again?
I don't want to see that smugness. It's got to be you. They got to take it home. I love my NA. I do, but I love Worlds even more, and I want to keep it that way. What a touch by Broken to send that out of the box. Keel coming out with a lot of heat behind their hits.
Nice catch from Dews. A little dicey there in the midfield. Going for the bump, and he will turn it in himself. Dews transitions end-to-end, coast to coast, and they will open up the scoring for Keel.
Beautiful pop. The timing on that. Oh my God, the demo again. These are highlight reel plays, right? That doesn't happen often with teams like this. Just over 30 seconds is all it took for Keel to put one on the board. And hey, this is it. No more match points, right? This is a best of 1 at this point, and Keel has at least got enough.
That might be 2.
Oh my God!
Huge pass play from Keel. Potty able to snipe this one. K3 dumped off the wall. Tokyo thinking it was going to roll up. Instead, it bounces out, allows his K3 to get back to it, dishes it across the pitch. Keel starting off strong, in Valleyfield kind of got caught by the haymaker.
So much control in the 40 seconds that we have seen in
3?
this game. No way, Dews. Oh my God. I was going to say, don't do them like that, man. They have families to go to at the end of this. All right. Keel has this control. When we're talking about these pops, these flips coming through every single time, if you're able to, as an individual player, get it over 2 to 3 defenders, you feel so good about that. And when it results in 2 goals, you got to feel even better.
Oh, and you love to see Dews right there all over that passing lane. Stalls out Valleyfield here in the midfield, forces Vegas to play a 1-on-3, and actually a necessary smash off his backboard. He couldn't trap that and dribble it. Keel would have had all of those dribble lines covered and just put even more pressure on him, so took a chance, smashed it off the wall, and Valleyfield has at least equalized the field position.
This is, part of the game where you also consider the nerves of some teams, some players. Everybody's different. Right? This is either the chance to move on to tomorrow or be knocked out in this elimination round after facing at least 1 failure yesterday, 1 loss yesterday. Tokyo gonna find demo there. Transition back over to the Valleyfield side, though, means that it's just gonna be a respawn into defense. Tokyo pass to Vegas, maybe a hit over to Broken.
No
Does
boost.
not have the boost available, though, to get skyward.
Unlucky. Would have liked to see him find the transition all the way over the defense. Probably would have worked. I think they had him beat if he had anything. But and again, it goes back to that communication. Do you know what your teammates can and can't do? And that's one of those intangible things you were talking about. You don't have the time necessarily to communicate. You just got to know. Unfortunately, Valleyfield, you've already hit the halfway point here in Game 5, and you're still looking for your first one.
Still more than half the match in regulation, right? Coming through here, oh my God, hey, still
Still half the match.
Still half the match, but it's 3-0 now.
It's not looking good. Potty with a beauty to the left-hand side. No chance for the defense. Huge goal. That absolutely could be the nail in the coffin.
And the changes in faces here, all right? Going into game number 4, the confidence that we saw on the side of Valleyfield, I mean, it was palpable. So was kind of the fear or the hesitation that we were seeing from Keel. Now it's exactly flip-flop. Valleyfield says there's no way we're going to let this fall through our fingers. It seemed so close. We were at match point 2 games ago. Ooh. And Keel says, yeah, that's still not enough.
Starting to see a little bit of frustration or perhaps just pure old miscommunication from Valleyfield, not knowing exactly where they want to place the ball, how to find each other through the passing lanes, and looking to open up a little extra space. You got to get out in front, in K3 putting the big part of the car behind center of the ball. Buy extra time here and waste even more off the clock, and now we go back into what we saw in game 1. If you're Keel, smash the ball as hard as you can, force Valleyfield to cover all that distance and get through as many people as possible if they want to tie things up.
Demos, vehicle disruptions, definitely things that are akin going back to the first couple of games when we had a tied-up series before, as we've got a tied-up series, of course, right now. But the clock is ticking down. Valleyfield does not have a lot of time. Again, we've seen multiple goals come through in a minute, but when you got a minute and a half and Keel is performing this well, this consistently on both offense and defense, something needs to change for Valleyfield, and it needs to happen right now. Potty with another carry up and over. Can Tokyo get there in time? He has the boost to do so, but boost has been a major struggle for Valleyfield. They're going to keep it out.
Huge save, but already close to under a minute. You need something right now. Scoring 3 in a minute is tough enough, and Vegas didn't even believe that Potty was actually going to miss. K3 misses as well, and that's why Broken's not flying for it, because why would they?
That's an unfortunate transition right there.
Oh, they might get it.
Oh, they're going to get that one. And all right, point on the board for Valleyfield. It's Broken coming through for his team. Just under a minute, though.
What a touch from Vegas out of the corner, driving all the way back. I think that caught everybody for a loop. Dews was at least in the right position, but Valleyfield knows they're going to dive at it all the way and just try and make it work. They've squeezed one in. You're in an okay spot. 56 seconds is doable, but you need all the pressure.
It's doable. Dews wants to say it's not doable, though. You know, at that point, Keel is very confident, right? We saw it in their faces just a moment ago. They absolutely should be. At this point, too, they can just play defensively. It is a risky strategy to take that, though. You have to find that middle ground of, we want to keep the score line at what it is, but we can't just be on the blue side of the field.
Certainly. At the same time, they're happy to play 4 minutes on the blue side of the field and make it work. Ooh. Dump towards the net, nice save. And that one's poked again into the middle. Vegas trying to get it. He's gonna be, what a save! They come out of the corner. Huge bailout for Keel. That might just be it. Thrown and broken up one more time. Valleyfield could not break him down. Dumped into the middle again. Then with 12 seconds, you've got one chance if you're Valleyfield.
45 seconds, though, and they've been able to sink in 2 goals. They have 12 more on docket. That's just about a third of that time right here. So if there's ever a time to show up for NA, it's Valleyfield right here, right now, to not get knocked out of the elimination rounds. 10 seconds, Vegas trying to make the shot! No way! No way!
You gotta be kidding me! Pop straight up, they go for the aggressive cheat up option on Keel, and it is literally the worst case scenario.
I have another day. I'm gonna lose my voice on one series. This one series is going to absolutely kill my throat, but it's so worth it. Last couple of seconds, can the tie be broken, or are we going to be seeing OT? Extra minutes, it was so close! No!
Oh, I was ready for disaster. I thought they just gave it up at 0 seconds. Valleyfield do indeed pull off a miracle. We go to overtime, and Keel, oh, you got to be reeling.
Yeah, you gotta be reeling. I mean, come on. No, we kind of thought it was over. We like to say it's possible. There's still a chance. Honestly, wasn't expecting 3 goals out of Valleyfield. Oh, no way, Tokyo! He's got the cleanup, though. He's gonna turn it away. It's still an aggressive play here for Keel. Transitions back over to the blue side of the field. K3, it's a passing play. It goes over to Dews. Nope. The defenders on Valleyfield get there just in time. It's not an open net. K3 once again finds himself a halo.
Oh, nice touches from Keel there, forcing Valleyfield to make sure to respect the long game. They know you can't get too aggressive. They may just poke it over your shoulder. You won't be able to do anything about it. Huge reset there in overtime for everybody. scary one for both teams, but I think everyone is able to settle down with the first minute in OT going by. Dues again gonna cross the net, make a nice solid save, dumped into the middle. K3's there to break it up, and that's a nice block from Vegas to buy some time for Valleyfield to recover here on defense.
Got the demo coming out from Tokyo. Might allow Broken to get a bit of a transition here, taking it up and around the corner. Body tries to turn it away. Tokyo's right behind him, and that's gonna be it! The tie is broken, and he moves on!
You have gotta be joking. Elation for Valleyfield. Confusion, devastation, frustration, sadness for the opposition. What a comeback.
Geez, I could die tomorrow and I'd die happy.
Yeah.
I will tell you that. This series was an absolute banger. And you know what? It's sad to say goodbye to EU. That is, unfortunately, last team out in the elimination match, meaning teammates was right. It's going to be a national day. CRL national, however, of course, we still got support. We still got those European fans and players who are going to be out on the field. And do not discount this Keel team. They were not even one of the expected teams to make it this far. And yet they did. They took us by surprise. They showed up today. But it is, of course, Valleyfield that's going to make it out in overtime. What
a turnaround from the black and gold. Oh, my goodness. that has got to be one of very, very, very few 3-goal comebacks with under a minute.
I can't believe it.
That's
Dialecto. Oh, no. Okay, you know what?
Does it show another one of them after this?
I don't want to see the reaction now at the end of this with that overtime goal. A minute, 20 seconds. It was a great overtime, too. We had several shots coming from both sides of the field. It was very back and forth, but when we're taking a look at the stats, it seems like everything is in favor of that orange team. Valleyfield again. NA takes it home.
Woo. I need a moment.
I need a lozenge.
Yeah.
I need a lozenge. I need a big cup of water. To be honest, I need some blood pressure pills or something. I think if I was on a seat, I'd be working the crap out of the edge of that thing. But my goodness, what a series to behold. And again, it's sad to say goodbye to a region, right? It's sad to say goodbye to our international friends. But man, did they put on a show for us.
Absolutely
We do have an interview, of course. F. is on the stage. He's going to be breaking down some of those plays with Vegas.
Thanks a lot, Jolly. F. here hanging out on the stage right here. Straight up and down, this was a passion play for you guys. I hear everybody in the crowd. They almost jumped up on stage. You're representing a lot of people. Easy question, man. What does it feel like?
I honestly have no words to describe what we just did. It was just insane. Insane comeback.
So there's a lot of conversation about Europe versus North America, but as a Canadian team, that means something completely different than just EU, NA. There's something different when it comes down to Canada. What does it mean to represent your specific nation here?
It's just insane. Like, we're just better than them, I guess.
All right, you want to go into it? Let's do it. The first time you guys faced off against this Keel team, it was a 3-0 sweep. Now, you're the ones on the good side. How did you turn that around?
Well, we did like LCQ. We lost against a bad team, and we just went straight to the win. That's what we did.
All right, now we got to look towards the future, man. Great job getting to this point, but now you got to deal with it. Now you've got to think towards tomorrow. Sunday championship. How do you make it all the way? What's the key for your team here?
Just score more goals than the opponents and just go all the way, baby!
That's it. Congratulations to Valleyfield and the boys. We're going to take a brief break. We'll be right back with the CRL World Championship.